You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, Black and White Sports fans, today was the big day. Folks, this is one of the biggest Supreme Court cases of the modern era. Because the left, they have weaponized Title IX to include males that want to play in female sports. All they need to do is say, I identify as female, and you must let me on your track team, your volleyball team, your softball team. I'm going to come in and dominate you. But women, they don't like it. They do not like it. Now, this country, folks, lost its mind during the Wuhan virus, the George Floyd stuff, peak wokeness like we never saw. But then it started to decline, folks. It really did. And this trans sports issue, folks, not very popular with the American people. This is like a 95-5 issue. But Democrats and leftists want you to believe that, oh no, the majority of the country wants males to identify as females and play in female sports. No. They've had a poll, guys. Even a vast majority, overwhelming majority of Democrats didn't even want that, folks. Didn't even want that. But these politicians, man, these Democrat politicians, they're super woke, man. Super duper woke. And we've really been covering all this, guys, since like 2022 with the whole Will Thomas situation over there at UPenn. Yeah, stole an NCAA title. We covered the 2024 Olympics where you actually had two biological men win gold medals in boxing, women's boxing. Yeah, insane, man. Insane. There was a whole bunch of backlash, folks, and the people don't want it. But still, you got certain states, they don't want to give up. And actually, guys, really what the Supreme Court was actually hearing today was actually two cases from red states because some woke lower court said, nah, those bans you got unconstitutional. Luckily, guys, we still got the Supreme Court. Still got the Supreme Court, man. One of the last bastions of sanity in our government. Because, folks, it was really bad news for the woke activists today at the Supreme Court. Because it looks like, guess what? The state bans, yeah, they're staying in place. They are staying in place. So let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. Here we go. But first, check out blackwhitenetwork.com. Become a member. Memberships are just $10 per month. You get a 7-day free trial with that. Or if you want to save more money, get the annual plan, still with a 7-day free trial. Rhodes and I post member videos over there. Also, member live streams every single Friday. And we also have a donation tab right here as well. You guys can donate if you just want to donate and not become a member. $5, $10, $20, whatever you can give. And don't forget about the merch. Get your Black and White Network shirt and the Media is the Real Virus shirt, 18% off. And if you become a member, a paying member, you actually do get a bigger discount. We appreciate your support. So here we go. So right here on Politico, Supreme Court appears likely to uphold state transgender athlete bans. Yeah. Now, this whole case, man, was doomed for the woke activists from the start. I mean, it's a 6-3 conservative majority. Now, even John Roberts, man, the Chief Justice, a Bush appointee, we know, man, he can be kind of wishy-washy. I don't think so on this issue, guys. This is going to be at least a 6-3 victory for conservatives. Because all the conservatives, I believe, are going to vote to keep the state bans. Let's look at this, guys. The Supreme Court seems poised to oppose state laws banning transgender women, men, from women's sports teams, even though some justices signaled a reluctance Tuesday to issue a sweeping ruling that could reverberate beyond athletics or threaten states that require schools to accommodate transgender athletes. For nearly 3.5 hours, the justices at the nation's highest court struggled with how legal precedents and anti-discrimination protections apply to state laws born athletes from women's and girls' competitions. multi-million-dollar ad campaigns and testy cable news debates had defined the public discourse over transgender athletes. But on Tuesday, every justice took part in questioning that poised a range of hypotheticals about puberty blockers, infertility, past gender-based classifications, and what level of constitutional scrutiny applies to cases. Quote, I've been wondering what's straightforward after all this discussion, Justice Neil Gorsuch said more than an hour into arguments. Conservative justices largely focus on how to apply the absolute transgender athlete bans in West Virginia and Idaho, neither of which have taken effect over the past several years. They took into consideration hormone suppression and mitigating biological advantages, age limitations for sex-separated athletes, and whether they should toss the Idaho cases due to mootness. Now, the reason why these bans have went into place yet, because remember, lower courts struck them down. That's why. And that seems kind of crazy right there. It really does. No male belongs in female sports. No males belong in female sports. Just that simple, man. I mean, this is a common sense issue right here. It really is. Now look at this here. Justice Brett Kavanaugh says, quote, we have to decide for the whole country, constitutionalize this, given that half the states are allowing transgender girls and women to participate, about half are not. Why would we at this point, just the role of this court, jump in and try to constitutionalize a rule for the whole country while there's still, as you say, uncertainty and debate? He asked Kathleen Hartnett, who represented a transgender Idaho athlete, Lindsay Hecutts, in the first of two cases the justices heard Tuesday. But the liberal justices on the bench questioned whether the high court has the factual record to decide that most transgender women have an unfair advantage in athletics when the athletes at the center of the current challenge may not. Yeah, the liberal justices aren't saying. They're woke. And we already know that, man. Remember, Ketanji Brown Jackson couldn't even tell you what a woman was. She couldn't even do that. During her confirmation hearing, she said she wasn't a biologist when allegedly, she's supposed to be a woman. Yeah, these woke lunatics, man, are out of their minds. Oh, but look over here, man. This right here probably nuked the whole transgender case right here. Look, you got some woke ACLU lawyer right here. Couldn't even answer a simple question on what is a man, what is a woman. Yeah, this is insane. Samuel Alito asked her this, so let's go ahead and play this, guys.
Girls.
Yes, Your Honor.
If it does that, then is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that definition? For equal protection purposes, what does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court. And we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
I think here we just know that we basically know that that they've identified pursuant to their own statute, Lindsay qualifies as a birth sex male, and she's being excluded categorically from the women's teams as the statute. So we're taking the statute's definitions as we find them, and we don't dispute them. We're just
wow. Couldn't even tell you folks what is a male, what is a woman. But did acknowledge that the trans athlete was born a male. Yeah. Alito got her. Alito got her, man. I mean, these woke attorneys, man, are out of their minds. I think they even know, man, they know exactly what a woman is. They know exactly what a man is. But if they tell the truth, they know they're going to get blasted by the mob, by the woke mob, whose opinion on this really doesn't even matter. Like I said, it is a minute fraction that agree with this woke nonsense right here. But gotta leave it right there, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.